Edgar Berlanga blows out Gonzalez Ortiz in one round in a complete mismatch. This fight, in quotations, is an example of exactly why Dana White says boxing is broken. Let's read the tea leaves. The powers that be, meaning the promoters, threw Berlanga this easy win as a confidence booster, as payback because they cashed out with him in his loss to Canelo Alvarez. Let's face it, Berlanga stepping in the ring with Canelo was a complete mismatch. How many of you actually thought that perhaps Berlanga had a chance to beat Canelo Alvarez? Again, that was the powers that be, meaning his promoters, just cashing out on him. You know, he really wasn't, he's not on Canelo Alvarez's level, but if they put Berlanga in there, Berlanga has a chance to make more money, get some pay-per-view points. Promotion also has a chance to make more money. Berlanga was essentially a sacrificial lamb, so as a thank you, they throw him this Gonzalez Ortiz fight last night. But both of these fights are evidence for exactly what Dana White is pointing to. It's all just a money grab, right? The matching Edgar with Canelo was a money grab because Berlanga doesn't have the stature where he could command more money, say like David Benavidez could versus Alvarez. That means the promotion itself gets to make the balance of those revenues generated. Does that make sense to you guys? And right off the bat, of course, I mean, people called it, Gonzalez Ortiz was absolutely no match for Berlanga. I mean, within 1 second of looking at just their physiques, you could tell right away that this was a mismatch. Gonzalez Ortiz had the muffin top hanging over his cup. So, not trying to fat shame the guy, but when a male athlete steps in there and they're not at, say, 10% body fat, meaning we could see all their abs, then that means that male fighter is not in tip-top shape. So the next question is, why is that so? Well, there's probably two reasons. One is that Gonzalez Ortiz, was not given a full notice to have a training camp. That's possible, so he didn't have time to get himself in the best shape. Or what's more likely is that usually he fights at a lower weight division, so he would come in at a lower weight ripped, but at this higher weight he's just carrying his regular sort of body fat. He's fighting perhaps at his walk-around weight, without cutting 20 pounds to make his fighting weight. Regardless, he did get dropped 3 times in the first round with, I think they were all right hands, but it was just a complete mismatch, so it wasn't even worthy of being called a fight. Now, in a previous era, what they call this sort of ego booster, confidence booster comeback fight, those are typically done off camera, off TV. Why? Because the optics are bad. Like I'm just pointing out to you, the opponent is clearly not on the same level as the person who's making the comeback, in this case Berlanga. These are the types of fights you match your fighter up with when you're trying to build their record, or in this particular case, like I said, you're trying to give Berlanga a comeback fight. But you don't want this on camera. You don't want a lot of eyes on it because it's bad optics. It's so obvious that your fighter is fighting somebody who's out of shape, who's not probably a full-time fighter, and who's just being used as an opponent. They're there to take the loss, they get their check and go home. But that other person, that opponent that's being used, they themselves know that there's really not much chance of them getting a win in this case. So the question is really, why put this fight on TV? The answer is, as Dana White would say, because boxing treats their fights like it's a going out of business sale. So let's just cash out and get as much as we can out of this. Bottom line, Edgar Berlanga's last 2 fights, his loss to Canelo and his win in the first round last night, are just evidence that Dana White is correct. Boxing is broken.